Hey, how are ya? Hope you're doing good. I missed ya. Did you miss me? Well, I hope you did, because this episode number 9, I have a surprise for you. And his name is Ryan. And Ryan is our special guest in-house today. Me, Jarvis, and Ryan talk about all sorts of fun little things. We talk about cryptocurrency. What the hell is that? And who fucking cares? We talk about anarcho capitalism. We talk about Jarvis getting shot in the balls by the cops. We ask some rather surly would you rather questions. We find out that Jarvis has a sex fantasy about actor Steve Buscemi, and we also dive into some questions about the dark web on this episode of The Tipsy Pollock. Why, hello there. Warm salutations and greetings from the bottom of the barrel. This is The Tipsy Pollock, a weekly podcast where I, Nate Wazinski, hang out, have a beer, and chit-chat with people in my life. If you have any sort of education, or you care about self-respect or how people view you, don't tell anyone that you listen to this podcast. However, if you would like to be a part of the conversation, here's what you gotta do. You gotta like us on social media, all the social media platforms, Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Want advice on how to be a good mom to your stupid kid? Maybe you want to rant about how stupid those shitbirds on The View are? Or something you feel strongly about? Women's rights, gun control, comedy, movies, whatever it is, send us an email at thetipsypollock@gmail.com, and we just may read it and attempt to help you out right here on the podcast. Once again, that's thetipsypollock@gmail.com. So one more time, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, send us your questions and opinions to thetipsypollock@gmail.com, and of course, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play Store, Stitcher, wherever podcasts can be harvested for their organs. So without further ado, you are now listening to The Tipsy Pollock.
Man.
You act like I can't delete.
That's awesome.
Like, oh shit, he hit record. He hit record.
It took him like 3 days to delete. That's all you've been doing for 2 days. Delete.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's how we record the show. We just basically vomit out a bunch of shit,
Right?
and then I go back through and I delete most of it.
Yeah. Delete. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, vomit's good.
Welcome to the Tipsy Pollock. We are in episode number 9, and today we have a special guest with us, my buddy Ryan. Ryan, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And as always, our trusty dusty, we have Jarvis Jermaine Jackson Little.
What? I didn't know I had another middle name. What's up, guys?
I just have to tell everyone who listens to the Tipsy Pollock, the last like 15 minutes has been fucking hell before we started recording.
Why?
Because you guys were having like a nerd orgy.
You know it. That's
I
the
actually
only way
heard
I
the
like
phrase. I actually heard the phrase, I've never seen 2 motherboards in one case. And it was said with such like reverence and passion.
There was some excitement there for a minute.
it. Oh, yeah. Keep that in. Keep that in the record.
Should I?
Yeah, why not?
I'm pretty sure
We'll
'cause
see.
it looks like you blacked out there for a second.
Oh, whew, I'm back. I thought you guys were gonna hop up on the table and start fucking. That's how. Yeah, that's how you guys were talking with each other about computers.
So that's what you fantasize about?
No, that's not what I fantasize. I was prepared for it though. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I prepared myself for you guys to just like you know in the movies where the dude catches glances with the lady. And then
Yeah.
and then they like move in for the kiss, and it's really kind of unexpected, or maybe it's in the middle of an argument. I thought you guys were gonna like have a moment like that while looking over computer cases, like where you're like, oh yeah, 2 motherboards, and you have beautiful eyes, and then just move in for it.
You never know. I thought that was Jarvis's thing, that you guys look deeply into each other's eyes. I think I heard that once.
That's for healing purposes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has
Not
father
nerd
issues.
orgies.
No. So Yeah, I'm glad you could join us this week, Rye.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some fun stuff. Before we get into it, you know what my wife said today? And it pissed me off so bad.
What?
She called chai tea juice. I was so fucking
What?
pissed. Yeah. Yes. Chai tea. We bought some chai tea from the store, put it in the fridge, and she was like, "Hey, will you get your son some juice?" I open the fridge. There's no juice in there. I'm like, "There's no juice." She's like, "Yeah, there's juice right on the top shelf."
That's not an obvious leap.
Yeah. I'm like, "There's no juice here. There's milk. There's chai tea." And she goes, "What do you think chai tea is?" I go, not fucking juice." What fruit does chai tea come from? Maybe our listeners can weigh in. If you guys think that chai tea is juice, then hit us up on our Facebook page or tweet us or even email us. The Tipsy Pollock Podcast at gmail.com.
We still need to set up our YouTube correctly.
Yeah. So sorry for everyone that's gone to our YouTube channel and hasn't found shit.
Nate's fault.
Old Nady Special Ed, not been able to set the YouTube up properly, but it will be up this week. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel because that's the only way that our families are going to eat next year. So if you love us even an incremental amount, go and watch like one of our videos. Hit play, put it on mute, cook dinner, whatever. Kill a puppy.
And when it is set up correctly, we'll post it on Facebook.
Yeah. So like our page, the Tipsy Pollock Podcast on Facebook. So we're here with our guest, and he is a world-renowned cryptocurrency guy. I don't even know what they would call you. Just absolutely world famous.
Yeah, definitely world famous.
Well, at least you're famous in my book.
Yeah, there you go.
You're kind of in the cryptocurrency deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Sure.
for the people who don't know anything about like cryptocurrency, maybe they've heard the term Bitcoin,
Right.
maybe they've heard the term Litecoin,
Right.
Ethereum. Jarvis hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
You're
hasn't.
talking about crypto mining?
Oh, see, he knows.
All these video cards
Right.
up in price. Hey, they're
That is
going
kinda
down.
surprising.
Guys, here we go.
But they are going
Here we
down.
go.
Right.
Though. Yeah.
I don't know, kids. I could probably in about 5 minutes we could just have a complete crypto conversation.
If I'm gonna have to reel you fuckers back in.
Oh, that's funny.
So give us like a rundown. What is the benefit? Like, what is cryptocurrency? And what does
What's
that
the
mean?
big deal?
Yeah, what's the big deal?
The short version is the blockchain technology that was Bitcoin or is Bitcoin that initiated the whole crypto revolution, I guess if you want to call it that. Started in 2009, and it was a way to have a decentralized database, just a public ledger, what we call the blockchain.
And what's cool about a public ledger? Like, why? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, so up until that was invented, there was really no way to have a decentralized, trustless database that everybody could basically dial into and know that was accurate, right? Everything is a centralized format, whether it's Google or whatever it is, there's a centralized company in charge of that.
Right.
So the blockchain decentralizes that. And so
it takes the power out of one central like entity,
right.
and it disperses it through everyone who's involved.
Right. So essentially what it is you give in the beginning, even now, but in the beginning you had a bunch of nerds that would download, say, the Bitcoin software, and that would put the ledger, the blockchain, on their computer, and that's how it's decentralized. But everybody's looking at the same information. Mm-hmm. And so what that allows you to do is send value from one person to the next, and everybody knows that, I paid you, X number of Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin belongs to you. What that solved was the double spend problem. So in digital land, digital information can be copied, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the blockchain and through the mining process and through the mining is just the mathematical equation and the work that your computer does to validate transactions.
Bet Goodwill Hunting could do that shit.
Yeah, he probably could, actually. So, and what that does is that makes it to where there's no double spend. And if there's no double spend, that means what people own actually has value. So it was really an invention on transmitting value digitally without a central governing body of some sort.
Right. See, that type of stuff is so beyond me. Like, it's so crazy, the technology for that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's almost Star Trek type stuff. So let me ask you this. Is cryptocurrency traceable?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say Jarvis here was a hooker.
Right.
And he accepted Bitcoin. He is a hooker. But let's say he is too.
Right.
And let's say he was selling his ass for money for Bitcoin.
Doing it this weekend.
Right.
And he has a cryptocurrency wallet, and I take out my cryptocurrency wallet, and I bing right to this hoe.
Right. Done deal. $2.
Just
$2.
And yeah.
Yeah, so the idea with Bitcoin, and this was kind of a...
Wait, could I get in trouble? That's my question.
Yeah, so... there's a couple layers to the question, because like back in the day, everybody thought Bitcoin was anonymous, and it's kind of anonymous, but part of the whole invention was a public ledger. So if you look at what they call the block explorer, you could put a public address, right? That public address is just a string of characters that would be like your address, right? And so if you were going to get a payment in Bitcoin, someone would send Bitcoin to that public address. So you can go to any website.
So like use Jarvis's prostitution job as an example.
Right, I'm going to send X Bitcoin right to Jarvis because he put on a show, and
a tasty show.
So the thing that's traceable is you can put that public address and look it up and see how many Bitcoin are in there. You can see everything that address has done.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is to prove
probably a lot.
A lot, yeah. A lot of $2 transactions.
I'm guessing a ton.
Hey, this upcoming weekend, Father's Day special.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, you got to wait till the end of the show to promote your stuff.
He's always plugging it.
Beginning, middle, and end.
So you never know if you were able to link a particular person to that public address, then it definitely is traceable. So, and that's why there's been a lot of, in the last year or so, a big push for privacy coins, what they call privacy coins, that try to fix that problem.
I like the privacy coins.
Privacy.
Because let's say Jarvis made me mad.
Right.
And I wanted him dead.
Sure.
So then...
it'd be against the non-aggression principle, but go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that fun stuff. But let's say I wanted him dead.
Right.
And I wanted him dead really in a violent manner, like a brutal manner.
Wow.
Like what's no, I don't. Don't.
Okay.
But like if I did, like if I wanted you skinned alive and rolled in glass or something like that, and there was someone out there. Let's say there was someone out there that I could acquire his skill set to skin Jarvis while he was still alive, and roll his body in glass or salt or something like that.
Yeah. Horrific.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's say he was willing to do it. I would use privacy coin.
Well, you could. I would think at this point, the U.S. dollar would be probably a better bet. Cash would probably be better to try that out in.
Shit.
Privacy coins, they're getting there, but they may not be there yet. So if you were really serious about being secure, I would just use cash.
Okay. So cash is king right now.
Yeah, I mean,
don't use a Bitcoin to kill or solicit prostitutes.
Probably not.
Okay. This Bitcoin thing doesn't sound too appealing.
There's ways around it, but that kind of gets into the weeds, and we probably are going to lose Nate in a hurry. But yeah, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. They have websites that they're called tumblers, so you can send your Bitcoin to.
It sounds fucking gay,
doesn't it? You send it to an address, and it basically tumbles all the Bitcoin together, and then they send you the same amount back, right? And so
it's like laundering your money.
Kind of is. See, one of the things about Bitcoin that you need, one of the things that's helpful to understand about Bitcoin is there only will ever be 21 Bitcoins in existence, and it's linear.
Did you just say 21
million?
Oh, 21 million.
Yeah, 21 million Bitcoin. So it's linear. So Bitcoin like 1 and 10 and 1,344. They're actually numbered. Right, in the sense,
right.
So if you on the code in the code, if you own Bitcoin number 7,
Mhm.
I know that's oversimplifying it, and you send it into a tumbler and you get bits and pieces from all these other, right? You kind of get change back.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But your total is still the same.
It's like throwing a dollar bill in and getting 4 quarters or
exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. So there are things that you can do to
Oh.
kind of make it challenging. But then, of course, there's companies now that specialize working with law enforcement and they're actually blockchain forensic analysts that try to find this shit. So
Why?
well, because they hate freedom.
So yeah, because I hate freedom. So there's actually people out there using Bitcoin to do illegal things.
I'm sure there's a small percentage.
I mean, if they have a whole forensics unit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, as a percentage of the total movement, it's probably a very small percentage that are
Yeah.
actually doing anything with cryptos that it's illicit behavior. But
It's probably mostly for like the dark web, right?
well, it's definitely used there a little bit. That kind of all got shut down in 2013. I haven't really kept up on too much of that since the Silk Road got shut down.
Yeah.
And if nobody knows, Silk Road was the Amazon for drugs. That was the website. I think it was
Hallelujah.
created 2010 or 11, something like that.
I mean, that's where I bought all my vitamins.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Well-
could buy all kinds of stuff there.
What vitamins are those?
Flintstone vitamins.
Oh,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
pop a Wilma.
laced with what?
I pop a Wilma, get healthy as fuck, dog.
All right, that's awesome.
You never pop a Wilma?
Nope.
Barney?
Mm-mm.
You never took Flintstone vitamins?
Mm-mm.
Come on.
Fuck.
Mm-mm.
What did you take? What kind of vitamins did your parents give you?
None.
OJ.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, just Sunny
It's
D?
called
Sunny D.
Kool-Aid,
Sunny D.
Tang.
Tang and chicken.
Yep, Sunny Delight.
Dude, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about the worst days ever, right? You said you had a story for the podcast.
Oh.
You wanted to tell us about 2010.
Dude.
Hmm.
So this was well, the more clarification. This was the worst day on the job, right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
What was your worst day in life?
Oh, this is probably up there. So
I love it.
this day was
I'm so glad
Dang.
you're here.
oh, it
that
was such a
bad?
fucking train wreck.
I
so-
fucking love it. You're with your people, just to let you know. This
Right.
whole fucking podcast is train wreck.
Yeah, it is a train wreck, but it was kind of a fun train wreck. It's one of those stories that was really, really not fun to go through at the time, but then looking back almost 10 years later, it's kind of humorous. So there's a lot of things going on in my life at the time that kind of added to this. It was like one of the
Like what?
so I used to cut concrete in Seattle, worked at a laborers union, and so I was always around construction. Been doing it for a lot of years, and the real estate market crashed in 2008, so there was kind of a lull. So I didn't do a lot of work for a year and a half or so. So 2010 comes around, March of 2010, about to turn 30, and I enrolled in college. I started, we get this last minute job out of nowhere. I get a call from my old company, says, hey, we got a big job on I-5. We want you to come work for us. And I was in college for a week and then started this big highway construction job working 12-hour shift. And me and my wife were about, 3 or 4 months away from getting married. There's just a lot going on. And the very first night, this job, we were cutting out panels on I-5, right? And so
Right.
we only can have the freeway shut down until 5 o'clock. So after 5 a.m., if we don't have the freeway wide open, it's like $10,000 fine for every 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Dang.
a lot of pressure.
I didn't know that.
So this first and
That's crazy.
these panels were like, well, you see them when you go down the road, right? They're the concrete panels in the lane. They're about 20 feet by 12 or whatever they are, and they're about 18 inches deep. And so I would cut the panel up, and then they take all the concrete out, and then I would help pour the concrete back. But I never really did any concrete pour. I always cut concrete.
Mm-hmm.
This concrete was so hot because it had to set up, and it was so hot that it would handle freeway traffic within 3 hours of us pouring it.
Oh, wow.
If you've ever been around concrete usually sits for at least 24 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So this stuff is hot.
Oh, of course.
So this first day, we all meet at the Hawks Prairie, And I don't know what I did. Maybe I drank a Monster or something. But you ever get one of those days where you drink like an energy drink and your stomach,
woo!
Yeah, your stomach just starts like doing hula hoops with your asshole. I mean, it was right.
Yeah.
So we get on the van, and that made me nervous right away because then we're all going to be out on the freeway. We have no transportation because the crew van's going to drop us off.
Right.
And
you had them bubble guts going already.
Dude, very first night, hadn't worked for a month, so I was out of shape. And the job site on the freeway is like 10 miles long because we have 10 miles of freeway shut down. And it was the very first pour, and our mix wasn't very good. We still had to work with our mix. And so the concrete came out way too hot, and we had about 5 minutes to rake it in place. Right? It's just it's setting up, and it's and so I jump in there, rubber boots, jump in there with a concrete rake. So now I got to rake, which means I got to grunt and pull and push, which isn't doing my stomach any good. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna shit my pants right in the middle of I-5. Right? First day on the job, this is what's gonna happen.
The busiest freeway,
dude,
in Washington.
And then I'm like to the boss, I'm like, dude, where's the Santa can at? Oh, it's coming. It's on a trailer. So I'm like, all right, fine. We'll get this pour done, right? So I'm sweating bullets. Can't hardly hold my shit together.
Right.
Literally.
Were you trying the mass Kegels?
Dude, I was doing everything I could.
Butt Kegels, bro.
I have never been so close to saying, fuck you, I'm leaving. I got to go, right? But my car is 20 miles away. I can't even leave. They have me stranded on the side of the fucking road.
You should have shit into the concrete.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
And everybody's running around.
You got them rubber boots.
Oh, and no one's set. The bosses don't even know what's going on. It's our first night. Everybody's chaotic. And then the concrete comes in too hot. Nothing's going right. So about an hour goes by, and I'm like, okay, dude, we're about to have. It was an emergency an hour ago, right? I don't even know what we call this at this point.
I think a tragedy.
Like, they dropped it off. It's at the end of the job site. Because the Santa can sits on the little trailer and they just hook it up to the truck.
So like 10 miles away?
I'm like, how does that do me any good? Like, what am I going to do? Walk over there? So at this point, I'm getting kind of irritated. And we were...
Kind of irritated.
Yeah.
He's like 4 seconds from a fucking water balloon full of shit going off in his pants.
I really and then I'm trying to rake. The boss is looking at me like, wow, that guy's like, where did he learn how to rake concrete? It looks like he's hurt. I mean,
right.
So after I think we did about 3 panels, and we were just north of like the Hawks Prairie exit, when you start to go down to the Nisqually Basin, and the freeway, has those, it's cutting into the side of the hill there, and there's the jack firs, everything. Finally, I just looked at my boss, and I was like, dude, where's the truck? Because this isn't going to work. And he's like, nope, he's running around with his head chopped off. I said, screw it. I ran up the hill behind a tree, cut the sleeves off my shirt, and like took care of business on the side of the fucking road.
You just shit yourself. No, not shit yourself, but like you shit.
I had to take care of it.
Or at least that's how the story goes.
This was 2 solid hours after it was an emergency. So then I come back down. Of course, all the guys are laughing, thinking it's hilarious because they didn't know full well what was going on by that point. And the boss is like, "Hey, where'd you go?" I'm like, "You can go fuck yourself, dude, because you know exactly what I had to do." Yeah, that was a good
Where
night.
did you have to go? Where did you disappear off to, sir?
And unfortunately, that didn't really fix the problem. I don't know. I was hurting for like another whole day.
Oh wow!
But yeah, raking concrete with the
raking hot concrete with the shits.
With the shits.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's you ever had a bad day like that?
I mean, I had an eventful night.
You eat a lot of Korean food
on New Year's.
What happened on that night? So let me guess. Okay, let me set this story up. Right, young Jarvis Little in his New Year's Eve tuxedo. You were in your tuxedo, right?
No, no tuxedo.
I thought you were in a tuxedo.
No. Going to Club Trinity?
You were you were going to Club Trinity. You had your tuxedo on, and you thought it was cool because you were wearing your tuxedo with Converse.
No.
And then you had a purple cummerbund. No, go ahead. You were on your way to Club Trinity all turned.
Yeah, it'll be pre-funked. You know how youngins do.
I don't. Can you enlighten me?
You never did that back in the day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't?
No, that's why I'm asking you to clarify.
All right. Pretty much, we drank a whole bunch before you went to the club. All right.
Now describe Club Trinity for everyone who is not from Washington or who has a job.
Like, what do you mean? It's just a club.
It's just a club?
Yeah.
thought it was
it's a 2-story club.
Okay.
What do you think it was?
Just carry on.
What did you think it was?
No, I mean I thought it was, a little more urban.
No. Like a gentleman's club?
No, urban. Not.
Oh. Anyway.
I thought it was a club for black people.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's in like.
That's why I never went. I didn't think
like
I was
in
invited.
downtown Tacoma. We're talking about Seattle here.
Oh, okay. Okay, carry on.
Okay.
So on your way to the gentleman's club with your tuxedo
Yeah.
and your purple cummerbund.
So pretty much all of us had
Diarrhea.
too much to drink because
Oh.
we had like almost $1,000 tab that we could spend because we were in the VIP section.
Oh
at
shit,
Trinity.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but we didn't even come close to it because we pre-funked so hard.
Oh,
I think we only spent like maybe $300.
Really?
altogether. Yeah.
That's like what, one shot of Hennessy?
And they get to keep the rest regardless. Yeah.
Oh, are you
So
serious?
yeah, we shouldn't have pre-funked. But one of my friends was throwing up right by the couch.
So you guys were in like this VIP section, sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
They bring you bottles, but you guys are too tore up to really drink. Your friend starts puking behind the VIP couch.
And so he had to go home. And then
Like, was he going home on his own?
on
Hey
his own,
guys,
he,
I gotta
he didn't get kicked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of our friends took him back.
So no one got kicked out that night. That's cool.
Well, not yet. I ended up getting kicked out.
What? You?
I actually don't even know what I did until this day.
I bet you flashed your dick at him. I bet you wagged your dick like a dog tail.
Yep, did that helicopter. Yeah, these two guys came and
I
got
bet
me.
they did.
It's a shower.
Hey, two guys came and got you, all right.
And they kicked me out.
That is. So you don't remember any of this? You don't remember getting kicked
No,
out?
I remember getting kicked out. I just don't know why I got kicked out.
Oh, probably
Yeah.
because they thought you were the one puking behind the couch.
Possibly, but I don't know what that time frame was.
We like, I want my money back.
But I didn't even know I was there for countdown.
Oh, you were or weren't?
I was, but I didn't know.
You weren't aware of it.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it at all.
You're like looking around, still like in mid conversation.
Yeah.
They're like, "Happy New Year," and you're like talking about computer
But
stuff.
coming back to that, so I got kicked out, and I left my cell phone back at my friend's apartment, so I couldn't call anyone.
How far away was that?
15-minute drive, maybe?
Okay, so not too far.
Yeah, but I didn't know where
And-
I was going, so I couldn't
and-
walk to the apartments.
And Uber didn't exist.
Nope.
So
Not
even
yet.
if you did know where it was,
Well,
you couldn't.
taxis did exist, but
What are
who am I supposed to call?
I don't know.
This isn't Vegas.
Right.
Yeah. But so I ended up going towards the pier. Oh man, yeah. Nate knows this story. That's why he's already.
I
laughing.
love this story.
So I ended up going towards the pier. Saw this big fishing boat,
Wow.
like a ship.
Yeah.
So I ended up going on it.
No, hold on.
Wait. Oh, never mind.
Hold on.
Never mind.
Can I interrupt you there? Jarvis,
Hold
on.
I skipped
Hold
the
on.
spot.
Jarvis, I went on it. Jarvis, I saw this fishing boat and I went on it. Everybody, Jarvis woke up in the water.
Yeah, I did.
Jarvis came to in the water in Puget Sound swimming.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you have hypothermia?
And then what?
Nope, I didn't actually. Actually, when I came to, I was like, "What the f am I doing in this water?" So I was treading water at this
Oh
point.
my gosh, I love this story.
And then I climbed out, and then next thing I know,
Where did you? Okay, so you climbed out of the water where?
well, onto the dock first, and then next thing I know, I'm on the fishing.
Okay, so
ship.
and then it was another.
yeah,
period of time where it
just all blackouts.
Okay, so next
Damn.
thing you know, you're on the dock, and then the next thing you know, you're on a fishing boat.
Yep. Mhm.
So you went from the water to the fishing boat,
Yep.
a lot like your ancestors.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so did you remember going onto the boat? or do you just remember
No,
being on the
nope,
boat?
Being on the boat. And then I remembered seeing stairs. So I was like, kind of cold, so I'll go down those stairs. So I went down 2 flights of stairs, saw the control board room and everything. There's nobody on the boat.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody on the boat at all. And I saw this big tube. I was like, oh, that looks like a good spot to fall asleep. Mind you, I fell asleep standing up.
What?
And every time I would like slowly go down, I would wake up and then just go back to sleep right on that big tube.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, until about 7 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, this is the best story. So how did you get from the boat back?
Back
Yeah.
to the streets.
Yeah.
I had to jump 2 barbed wire fences. Yeah, I ripped my shirt on the first one.
Oh man.
And mind you, I was still drunk.
Well, no
Still
shit.
Yeah.
drunk.
I hope so.
Like no
Yeah.
You might have noticed the water.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, so it took me.
You jumped 2 barbed wire fences.
Oh yeah, when I
Oh
went
my
to
gosh.
check what was in my wallet, I lost all my money. Lost my debit card.
Oh my gosh.
My camera got waterlogged. I think I lost my watch. But it took me about an hour and a half to find a taxi because it was New Year's Day. And right when I got in the taxi, I was like, I smell like fish, huh? And the taxi driver just shook his head. Like, I smell like fish like no other.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I
Yeah.
smell like fish, huh?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, and another
gosh.
thing, when I woke up in the morning, my fingertips were cut up by the barnacles.
Oh, nice.
What?
Yeah, they were really bad.
Wow.
And so after finding a taxi,
Oh yeah. How did you get back to your friend's house? No, but you said you didn't know where it was.
I didn't. I was like, do you know where the McDonald's is? Because they lived by the McDonald's.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't have money at this point either, like I said earlier.
Okay, so when you got in the taxi, did you tell him, I don't have money
No,
on me?
No. I was like, right when we got there, I was like, I'll be right back. And then I knocked on the door. My friend Josh opened the door. He was like, Jarvis, we're trying to look for you everywhere.
Well, I was fucking drowning,
They
and
would-
then I slept on a fishing boat, so you didn't fucking look hard enough.
Yeah, like they even called the
It's on my
drunk
way to
tank and
Alaska.
everything.
Yeah, Jarvis wakes up as a fucking fishery in Alaska.
Yeah, right when he said that, I
Well,
was
this
like,
is life now.
Yeah. Why are there cameras?
Right.
Yeah, I asked him, can I borrow $20? Right after he said that. So they had to look for $20.
Oh, dude, that is a great night.
From what I remember, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, and I saved my SD card because it was like rusted and everything. I used rust remover,
Uh-huh.
and it ended up working.
What?
So I was looking at the pictures. Come back to the New Year's toast. I was toasting and everything in those
Oh,
pictures.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
like you were there. Your body was like, your mind was like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep. And your body was like,
For real.
nope,
Nope. It's
I'm
party time.
I'm toasting it up.
I had
You
an
can rally.
out-of-body experience.
Dude, that's so crazy. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. That's a terrible but fun night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
After the
look
fact.
back at it.
Yeah, after the fact, like when you look back, you're like, man, that's kind of funny. Like I almost died. Like that could have been a news.
Right.
That
Oh, yeah.
was a newsreel waiting to happen. You know what I mean? That
Oh,
was straight up.
Oh, on a side note, black people can swim.
Oh, you're half black, so that makes sense.
That's why he was treading.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, he was treading
how
water.
how about yourself, Nate?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I was trying to think of something.
I know one. The
Okay, so I can share that one.
right.
So I'm a child. I'm a teenager at this point.
Yep.
And one of my friends threw a party, and like young mischievous kids do, I went to the party and I'm hanging out. And so in high school, I didn't have a problem getting naked. You know, I just got naked. You know what I mean? And
No, but okay.
you don't know what I'm saying? Are you not comfortable naked?
Oh, I'm comfortable naked.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
But I
so-
didn't really just take off my clothes in high school, though.
So-
Just like periodically. Did you just decide to just boom? I'm naked.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, this is freedom.
Yeah, no judgment.
You're all about freedom, right?
Oh, that's sure. Freedom's good.
So I was always naked, like at parties and whatever, just messing around. I didn't care, just get naked or whatever. And we're at this particular party at one of my friend's house. I get into a hot tub, and I am naked
Nice.
in the hot tub. And there's several people in there with me. I'm just sitting there. I'm drunk. I'm high. It's like a terrible situation. Like, I don't condone for kids, right? I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, this super bright light right in my face, and someone yells, "Cops!"
Oh no!
Have you ever seen Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo.
Well, I know the show, but I don't really watch it.
Like, who the fuck am I? You looked at me like I grew a second head. Like, I don't think I've seen. What is a Scooby-Doo? Like, I've never met anyone in my whole life that's never heard of Scooby-Doo or seen Scooby-Doo. But anyway, like, sometimes in those old cartoons, like, if one of the main characters would get scared, they would jump up out of the water and like do like 50 running steps in the midair and then skip across the water.
Right.
And I feel like that's what I did in a hot tub, buck-ass naked at like 16, 17 years old. So I take off. I run through this guy's backyard, and he had a huge backyard. Run through this guy's backyard, naked, barefoot, everything wet.
Nice.
I jump his fence, and I run through that backyard. And then I jump their fence, and I run through another backyard until I hit the main road. Now, in Yakima, there was this main road on the west side. And I start running down this main road, and there are cars, like lots of cars, and it just honks, laughing, woo! And I'm just running terrified, thinking, I'm holding my wiener in my balls.
It's like old school.
Yeah, and I'm just sprinting down the street, right? People probably thought I was on PPC. It's Angel Dust. People thought I was on something crazy, I bet you.
Sure.
So then I take a right up another main road. And this is the road that leads to my house. People are honking. Like, on this particular road, there was no sidewalk. So I had to kind of run in the road or on the gravel on the side of the road.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm like running like half. So people have to like get out of their lane to go around this naked youth who's just panicked, wet, naked, and absolutely terrified. I run home, go in the front door of my house, and my mom, the way our living room was set up, our couch was facing away from the door, and we had the TV, facing the door. So my mom was facing the TV with her back to me.
Gotcha. And
I walked in the door, and I shut the door behind me, and my mom had her hand up on the couch, and she just kind of looked over her shoulder, and she sees me, and I just am standing there like, No, Mom. You talk first. And she just goes, "Good night, Nate." And I'm like, "Good night, Mom." And I went upstairs and I went to sleep, right?
Oh,
I went to bed.
Awesome.
I went to bed and woke up the next day. I'm sure I wasn't feeling the best. But then Monday comes around and I'm walking down. I go to school. Everybody's laughing at me. Everybody's laughing. Like, I'm walking down the hall and everybody's laughing. It's just like in a movie, like they see me and then all of a sudden they like turn and snicker to their fucking friend. I'm like, finally walk up to my locker. I'm like, what the fuck? I say to my friend, and he's like, dude, what? Like, why didn't you come back to the party? I'm like, because I think at the moment police officers busted, the party's over, right? Like,
right.
That's not a good night after that. I don't go back to that party.
It's a silly question.
Yeah, it's a silly question from a silly individual. And he's like, there was no cop at the party. That was my other friend fucking with us. And he flashes the light in my eye and yells, "Cops!" And he was just messing around like, fucking cops. But I was so fucking out of it, I bounced up like Scooby-Doo, skipped across the water through his backyard, his neighbor's backyard, and all Yakima saw my pee-pee.
That's awesome. So everybody was laughing watching your little white ass.
Oh,
just
dude,
run
yes.
home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was hilarious, too. Oh, because when I went to go jump the fence, I fell. so when I fell back, I'm sure I had grass and stuff on my hiney.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Took your ball and went home.
I've done that too.
Yeah. What, naked?
Not naked.
No. They probably couldn't tell on yours, though. Maybe just the grass, like they thought it was like green hair.
Okay.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I mean, that made me. I don't know why that made me think of like Bigfoot.
Because
Like
you saw brown skin? I don't know.
is that my racist mind?
I guess so.
Is that my racist mind? I
Isn't
sit
it
there and
creeping
think
up on
like,
you?
oh, like I did. I pictured in my head. I went through this series of thoughts, and one of them was like picturing you naked and what that would look like running through the backyard. And then I thought, Bigfoot. For some reason, like, I wonder if Bigfoot exists.
Saw my big beard.
Yeah,
You
you're.
like-
Oh, maybe that was it. Like maybe a ton of grass on your hiney or whatever. I thought that was.
No, that was you.
I thought that was some Sasquatch, son.
I get the feeling that you're a believer.
You know what? I think I am.
Are you?
I think so.
Is that like convention like next door to the Flat Earther convention?
Hey, that's
nice.
yeah.
one,
No,
nice
those
one.
guys are crazy. Those guys are psycho, man. I believe in Bigfoot, bro. I'm not trying to disprove Christopher Columbus. We're roundies.
Roundies.
Yeah, we're roundies. No, you don't believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion of Bigfoot. It seems to me
You live
that
in Washington. You don't
well,
have a.
It seems to me that if he existed, that with all the cell phones running around, that we'd have at least a non-fuzzy picture by this point. But
True.
maybe not. I don't know.
Well, or that and you'd think like Google Earth would have snapped a picture by now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
You know,
Yeah.
like something, like
Yeah.
some fucking drone. Like
What-
there's cameras everywhere
even,
now.
Even stuff that comes out now.
Trail
it's like,
cams.
what do all the hikers that actually get a glimpse of this guy? Are they carrying around a Nokia from like 2001? Like nobody
Right.
has a phone. That
They're all
can,
blurred
That can take
fucked
a real
up.
video.
Right.
You know.
But when I was a kid, my dad, working for the sheriff's department, he used to work up in the mountains a lot. He used to work with the ORV program, off-road vehicle.
Oh.
And so he would go up into the mountain. He said there was a couple times there were these old codgers that lived up in the mountain. They would report like chicken theft, and they would go. And my dad said there was a couple calls where there was like footprints, like legit Bigfoot footprints, and they were like 3 feet
Yeah.
long.
And no one snapped a picture.
I did see one documentary or something on TV where they had footprints there, and they did a little bit of, I don't know, investigation on how much weight it would take to make the size of footprints, just the indention and stuff, and it was like 600 pounds or something. Like, well, even if it was somebody in a suit just making a hoax, like they wouldn't really be able to make this
Right.
type of footprint.
Right.
So some of it, is
Interesting.
interesting, but yeah,
Yeah. Maybe it's just some crazy bear with one human foot, you know?
you never know.
Like a couple human feet on a bear.
Right.
He never took pictures?
My dad?
Or the friend?
It wasn't a friend. It was just like some dude who lived up in the mountains
Oh.
who called
Oh, he
and
probably didn't
said,
have
someone's
cell
stealing
phone.
my chickens. And then my dad went up there to look around, and saw these gigantic footprints.
He didn't take pictures?
Yeah, they got
okay.
pictures of them.
All right.
So I don't know. Maybe there's just like a part of me that wants to hold on to like this mystical world, or like this idea that something cool like that could still exist.
Yeah.
Like something out there is unknown. Like, 'cause think about it. Like, we know everything. Everything that you want to know is like on the tips of our fingers at all times. Like, we have this
Right.
phone that's connected to this massive network of infinite knowledge. I
Mhm.
want to believe that there's something out there that we don't know.
Right.
So I'm going to stick with Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, I guess my thing, other than Bigfoot, that I find interesting is like, and I know some of it
A
is
good woman.
Is
No, I'm just kidding.
I got one of those.
Ooh, me too. I do too.
10-4.
You're not the only one, Ryan.
Plug the good woman. Vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and some
She's
of
the best.
Some of it's way overblown, but the some of the stuff on the ancient aliens is kind of interesting.
Okay, we're moving on.
Nicely done.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Ancient aliens, blah, blah,
some
blah.
Of it kind of back to like concrete is some of the stuff that you see around the world. Some of the artifacts. Into the mic.
I can hear you.
I'll put that on my chin like that.
Just
Say that again, please.
Just your
Oh my gosh,
peas.
say that again.
No. Some of that stuff is kind of interesting. It makes you wonder.
I almost died.
That was for you.
They don't have any of these pop filters.
Have you ever seen any of that stuff?
Like on Ancient Aliens?
Well, just some of the, like the pyramids and what do they do? And
Right, yeah. There is some mystery, but it's all history. mystery.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You know?
Bigfoot today.
Yeah, Bigfoot is today. Like, what happened to the Egyptians? How'd they build them fucking triangles?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or Stonehenge and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like, if you talk to someone that works at the Capitol building, he'll tell you all about the linear
You're right.
equation and
Oh yeah.
and the connection between Freemasons and the devil, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. They
Which is, again, it's so far above, and I don't think he's wrong.
Well, yeah.
I just have no idea what any of this.
I don't know if I know anything about the Freemasons.
Well, yeah, I know they're a secret society of stonemasons who carve really freaking weird shit into
I think Nicolas Cage is one.
prominent buildings. Really?
No, he played in that movie.
I think. Oh yeah. I think he's a lizard. Have you ever seen that conspiracy?
Oh man.
Oh, what are
Your
they?
brother believes in the lizard.
all the
people.
lizard people that live in the
I
So
mountain
does
or
mine.
something?
So does mine.
Oh really?
Dead serious.
Oh wow.
He dead ass talked to me about.
He dead ass talk to you? What?
Yeah.
Every Sunday for me.
What does that mean?
You need to get a couple black friends.
I know.
He
right?
talked to you about lizard people?
Right? That's how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, Ryan.
So tell me about the lizard people.
So basically, this huge culture of lizard people, beings, who came down from space and are inhabiting our planet and who have infiltrated the government and the higher ups and the positions of power.
This is not true. None of what you're saying is true. Right
Prove
now.
it.
This is a real thing.
This is a real thing. You can look up, and you know what's funny is
That's funny.
I make fun of them. I make fun of it until I see the YouTube video. Every time I make fun of this shit until I see the YouTube video, and then I'm like, meh.
Videos.
Yeah, videos. There's like tons of videos.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's the lizard people conspiracy, and then like I take a couple steps back and I go, okay,
Maybe I don't know everything.
Yeah, like I need to ground myself again, like because that video kind of fucked me up a little bit. But then I go, yeah, I'm going back to not believing in lizard kings.
Yeah.
Some of the theories and speculation surrounding the moon is weird.
Okay, like
I don't remember what. I think it was a documentary with one of the astronauts. I can't remember which one.
Neil Armstrong.
What's the other one?
It's the only one I know.
I
That's
think
why I
it's-
said I wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think it's the other guy. But I can't think of his name. Anyways.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
He was an astronaut, wasn't he? Like in the early 2000s?
Something like that. Yeah, I think he crashed.
Oh, he did?
Well, I don't know. What is that, Apollo 13 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apollo 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, something, like they don't know what's on the dark side of the moon. And when they landed,
Oh, right.
they didn't, one of the landings wasn't, the module wasn't, it wasn't a soft landing, I think, if I remember right. And so it kind of, it hit the moon surface kind of hard.
Right.
And the report was it rang like a bell for like an hour. And so it's really, really almost hollow. They think it's hollow. And there's some weird stuff surrounding the moon that it's
That's
pretty
weird.
trippy.
That gave me goosebumps, bro.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And not because I believe it, but because it's something I never heard before. And if that's real, I'm fucked.
Well, and there's
That's crazy.
look at some of the guys when they went up there, some of the astronauts
I
of
think
the
they've
60s,
seen some shit.
They've seen some shit and they're not supposed to talk about it, and makes you wonder.
How do they not talk about it though? You know what I
They
mean?
don't want to die.
Well, I mean they're kind of there.
I mean,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't you spill the tea on your deathbed?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think some of them kind of did, like with this. The other guy, he's pretty old.
Monsters!
He's pretty old. He
They
did
made
that
that one
documentary recently.
What movie was that? Apollo.
It was Apollo
16 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like,
And it was
wasn't
about
it
the
based
doc-
on true events. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But when they
No,
went
it was
around the
pretty
dark
freaky.
side of the moon, they slingshot. They saw some shit, right?
Yeah. It actually came onto the ship.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's some pretty interesting theories out there. But when you're listening to the guy that was actually there,
Right.
kind of makes you wonder a little bit more than just some random theory.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that'd be
Crazy.
trippy.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. Onto the dark web. Was there anything like that you saw, like any conspiracy stuff from the dark web? Or so tell me about. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. You went onto the dark web. Now, what is the dark web or the deep web?
That's just a, I don't know, euphemism for anything that's not searchable. So anything that you can't, that's not like query to a search, like Google, or it's not public, which I don't know what the ratio is, but it's like 2% of what's on the internet is actually public.
Okay.
Yep.
So theoretically, all of that stuff is considered a dark web.
Okay.
Right.
So
it's
like
just
what?
Not, well, like you could have anything, any kind of private documentation from any company, right? That's just not something that you could find on Google would technically be considered the dark web, just because it's behind closed doors.
Right.
To a sense, the dark web and the way you're using it, most people mean that like the Silk Road, or cryptocurrency guys or free market guys that are trying to buy and sell stuff. Maybe that's not technically legal, and so then there's hidden services, and so you can use a browser called Tor, stands for the onion router, and that masks your IP address. And so when you log into, like, say, Facebook knows your IP address, right? And so then they know that that's your house. But what Tor does is when you download that browser, it'll connect you to multiple relays, say like one in Germany, one in Hong Kong,
Switzerland.
Yeah, and then that way, when you actually get to the internet, they're seeing that last relay IP address, not your physical location.
So they think you're in a different
country.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
and then you
wouldn't that suck if by chance it went right back to like your neighbor's house?
Well, it's like a VPN.
Well, you
right?
can, you can control that. You can control which country you want to show that.
Oh,
you're
okay,
at.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a VPN, right?
It's kind of like a VPN,
like that.
and then a lot of guys would actually use a VPN plus Tor to be really secure, because then you've encrypted that Tor hop through an encrypted tunnel, what the VPN does. So, and then when you do that, when you get through Tor, there's hidden services inside Tor. So it's instead of .com, it's .onion.
Okay.
And that's how
Wow.
the guys like the Silk Road created the Silk Road, and you could only find it if you knew the link.
Yeah.
So it was a really complicated looking link, like what hyperlinks look like.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not something you could memorize.
Right. It's all sorts of symbols and numbers.
So that's what that was. You just had to know that that's what it was, and you could get on different forums and stuff, and kind of asked to be invited. You kind of had to. At least I did. You post and you kind of start making friends with people on chat boards and say, "Hey, can I get an invite?" And then that's how I got invited to the Silk Road.
Oh wow.
And so when you go to the link, then once you get the link, then it's just like any other site. You just create a profile and log in, and you're good to go.
So you created a profile?
I did. It was kind of cool. Yeah, it was. I think that must have been 2011 or maybe the beginning of 2012. And yeah, there was tons of stuff for sale. There was never any weapons or murder for hire or anything like that, at least that I saw. At least on the Silk Road. There was other sites that were doing it, but the Silk Road was just drugs, and it had drugs, and it had like fake driver's license and things like that. Oh,
that'd be awesome. Did you ever purchase any documents?
No.
Do you know anybody that did?
No. Every question from here on out is no.
So you wanted to get on to see what you wanted to window shop. Wink.
Yeah, exactly. I was in school, and so it was a research project, educational purposes only.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. What's the craziest thing you've seen on there? Be real.
There was definitely some money laundering. You could buy wash cash. That was pretty crazy. And so it was usually about 30 cents on the dollar.
Oh wow.
Or it was straight counterfeit. But then there was, and the drugs were crazy. I mean, there was black tar heroin. There was just anything you could imagine. Stuff I don't even know how to pronounce. Stuff that was crazy. But of course, back then, Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency around. Because
right.
It's only been around for a couple years, and so that's what everybody would transaction in. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
Because I know they got all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, we watched some documentaries on the dark web. Remember that?
Yep.
They had like torture.
Yeah, there were some pretty crazy sites.
Yeah.
That were trying to follow Silk Road's
actually
pattern. There was when Silk Road when the FBI finally shut it down. It took them over 2 years, I think, to figure out how to get them shut down. And within like 48 hours, Silk Road 2.0 launched.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then
That's insane.
I didn't want to really be associated with it, so I stopped going to the site. But
right. Wow.
just in case. But there was one site that was using IP2 or I2P. Can't remember which one that is, but it was really secure. It took me sometimes it'd take you an hour to be able to just log in.
Whoa.
Because the security and the encryption was pretty crazy, but
Whoa.
not really user friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? What did that have on it?
More of the same stuff. I think it was called the Free Market. I think is the name of that
Oh, yeah.
website. Yeah, surprising.
Free market, because you're a free market guy,
Sure.
right? I think I remember you saying like you had some sort of like life motto.
Life motto,
Yeah.
maybe like a life principle, like my principle.
Yeah.
Or-
What's your
yeah.
principle?
The non-aggression principle.
Okay, but there was like something property, something and something.
Oh, life, liberty, and property.
Life, liberty, and property.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about life, liberty, and property. Like what? Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. So it goes back to kind of an economic and political theory, right?
Okay.
The non-aggression principle is the foundation for that. Basically states it's immoral to aggress against a non-aggressor.
So like you can take what you want.
Take? That sounds like exactly the opposite of what I just said.
So if someone has what you want
Right.
and you want it, you can just feel free to beat them up and take it.
Sure. Yeah, no.
So what's so the non-aggression principle is like basically don't hurt anybody.
Pretty much.
Like
yeah.
don't aggress.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do as long as you don't interfere with anybody else's, sphere of rights of doing anything they want to do.
Okay, so you're not a Democrat or a Republican. You're not a libertarian. You
No.
are what?
You'd probably label me as an anarcho-capitalist.
An anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah. So if most people don't like the word anarchy because it freaks them out, they think it means chaos, which it really doesn't. But another word is voluntarism. So it's mainly the belief that all human interaction should be voluntary, right?
Right.
So the initiation of force is illegitimate, regardless of what uniform or costume you're wearing, right?
So like police or anything, FBI.
Right. So all that is if it was illegal for a private citizen to do it, then we know what has changed for somebody else to do it.
Well,
Right.
they're wearing a different shirt
Right.
and then a shiny piece of metal.
There you go. That makes it special.
Anarcho-capitalist. Tell me a little bit about anarcho-capitalism.
It's basically free market. Is all it means.
Okay.
If
Like a total free market.
total free market. So there's nothing that
Like no government.
no government. There's nothing that the government can provide that the free market can't provide better.
Okay.
So like you can take food production for example.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to eat. Everybody, especially our age and older, knows the horrors that socialism brought
The
us
whores?
in.
There was a lot of whores in socialism.
Whores.
Am I right, Jarvis?
Right. They had to make money somehow.
By the way, this weekend. No, I'm playing.
Raindrop.
Raindrop.
Remember from last?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my nickname.
He totally derailed me then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
You were talking about the horrors of socialism.
Horrors, yeah.
Food production.
Food production, there you go. A lot of people starved in the 20th century. Government took over the means of production.
Yeah, but you know what? The roads were a lot less crowded.
That's
too.
true.
Right.
Right. That's true. He's kind of heartless with that stuff, isn't he? But if the free market can provide, food, and like take Walmart for example,
Okay.
billions of dollars of food product to millions of customers in the right quantities at the lowest price. Logistically, that's kind of a nightmare, and the only way that can happen is through pricing. So, if the free market can provide food, then maybe it can provide something like justice or police or firefighters or education. And
Yeah.
so when you get something like the government that provides service through a monopoly, monopolies always increase the price and decrease the quality.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and so
I
that's
mean-
the basic idea. When you combine the economics of Austrian economics and the non-aggression principle, you get anarcho-capitalism. You get free market, because at some point you have to have the question of, is too much freedom a bad thing? And then if the answer is yes, well then the next obvious answer is, well, where do you draw the line?
Right.
Right? It's really arbitrary at that point.
Okay, so walk me through it. Like if you were going to ask me how much freedom is too much.
Well, one of the questions is do you think that a group of people can, or an individual can give a right to somebody else that they don't already have?
No.
I mean, that's kind of a weird question, but
Yeah.
can a group of people get together and give someone a right that the group doesn't have.
No.
So is there any ritual that can we do any ritual or anything or change anything that would change the act of something, like a moral act?
So that would change whether it's moral or immoral?
Yeah.
Is there a ritual that makes it an immoral act
Moral.
clean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you do it to change the morality of it?
No. Not that. No.
Yeah. So then when you get to the bottom of it, getting a group of people together to vote in a politician to take people's wealth in the form of taxation starts to kind of melt away. Like, how is that theft different than if we just were robbing each other
Right.
without any legitimized idea of it's okay for these guys to do it, but it's not okay for
Right. So, and you're one of those dudes who believes that taxation is theft.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Here's a how would the police force work in an anarcho-capitalist society?
Yeah, well, it's kind of an interesting question. There's actually about 3 or 4 times more private police today than there is public police.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, which is surprising.
Are you counting security guards as police, or are you talking about privatized police officers?
Yeah, like, private security officers that actually are for hire. That's what they do. They're filling in the gaps on the police. Now, they don't necessarily have the same authority in our society as like a regular cop, but that might be a good thing. You don't see too many shootings
By
with
security guards.
security guards and private police because they don't have the extra legal protection,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And so they're held accountable to a higher standard
Right.
than actually public police are.
So if Jarvis gets pulled over, like let's say he's on a private piece of land and he gets pulled over by a security guard
yeah,
and shot to death,
it's gonna be a bad day.
that security guard isn't going to have a job anymore in an anarcho-capitalist society, whereas in today's society he would get paid leave.
Well, yeah, it'd be worse than that. He's probably gonna be held accountable for murder if it was really murder, right? If
Well, he
there-
shot Jarvis like 8 times.
yeah. So
As a matter of fact, he shot him like 10 times.
Yeah.
Probably
Full clip.
Yeah, full clip, and then he reloaded and shot him some more.
bad deal. But then the company
Like right in the balls. Most of them were in the
Boom.
balls,
buckwheat.
but like 2 of them were in the head. like 15 shots right to his he didn't even have any testicles
balls
anymore.
first, though, right?
Yeah, balls first.
just emptied it.
Just the screams and just gunpowder and just every, just it was a muck. It was crazy in my head. But
Yeah.
but then he shot him once in the head at the end.
At least said twice.
Okay, twice. Yeah, you're right, twice. So like 30 times in the balls
Mm-hmm.
and 6 times in the head.
Damn.
Right?
Double and triple. Okay.
Yeah.
How many
Right.
rounds does this guy have?
know.
He had clips in the car and problems upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, Jarvis's balls are gone and his face is tore up.
Well, it's a funny way to frame the question because it's framing the question not in the action, but in the action in the light of what his job is. Like, why does his job matter if he kills someone? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, he was speeding.
Well, then, yeah, that's crazy.
Jarvis was speeding. So we need the police there to stop Jarvis from going fast. And they killed him.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just not going to happen too much. I mean,
In all truthfulness, too, in today's society, I know I'm sitting here joking about that shit, but that shit does happen.
oh, for sure.
Like, people are going too fast, cops pull them over, and they fucking end up dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't need to end up dead. So
No.
in an anarcho-capitalist society, how are those situations going to be prevented?
It gets sort of complicated. A really good book that goes into some of that is Chaos Theory by Robert Murphy. It's really small, takes you about maybe an hour and a half to read, but it goes through some of the ideas on that. But
Does it have pictures?
it does.
Oh,
Yeah. They're not colored though.
I'm out.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. But roads would be private property, right? And so more than likely, the company who owns the road is going to have a private security firm that just makes sure the road is safe. Well, everybody that's using the road is a customer. And so there's a different relationship between private security and this normal, regular citizenry because they're viewed as customers, where that's not how we're viewed with the police today.
No, right.
We're not customers at all. We're revenue streams, and in a lot of sense, like the instance you're talking about, people are guilty. You know, there's profiling, whatever else. The cops are
before they even. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of that wouldn't even happen to begin with, because
Like that policing for profit.
Well, and there's no reason to do it in a free market. If you're not hurting someone, there's no crime. You can't have a crime without a victim.
Right.
So
are you telling me if I'm like driving really fast down the street, it's not a crime in an anarcho-capitalist society?
It depends on what your agreement is with the people who own the road. Maybe the people who own the road are going to, your insurance, right? There's private insurance firms, a lot like we have today. Maybe there's an agreement that the speed limit's 70 miles an hour like it is today. And if you're breaking that agreement, then you've already agreed to the predetermined consequences of breaking the agreement. So contract law and private property law that already exist would handle 99% of the stuff that would occur. But you wouldn't have this massive bureaucracy that's siphoning off, trillions of dollars from the free market to pay for the nonsense. Where, think about it, think like, they get to state patrol, they're traffic cops, and they're spending all of this time and resource trying to catch someone breaking a law so they can generate revenue.
Right.
Instead of actually investigating real crime, right, they're waiting for someone to break a traffic violation.
Right.
And those guys get more, those types of crimes get more attention because they generate revenue.
Right.
You go to the cops and say your car was stolen, they may say, well, good luck.
Yeah, and they do.
Yeah, I mean,
they do say that. I've had things stolen before, and they're like, well, we're pretty sure we're not going to find it, so you might as well just go replace it.
All right, and then there's no revenue in that kind of stuff. So
that's interesting. That's real interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
How are the courts ran then in an anarcho-cap? Is there a court?
Sure.
So like let's say let's say Jarvis is a pedophile. Like just he goes around kidnapping kids. Get in the van.
Wow. Yeah. Sure.
You don't really do that. I know that.
I know.
But in this scenario,
you get like all the nasty examples.
I know,
don't you?
right? Yeah.
so let's just say Jarvis is this like just gruesome pedophile, right? Like just a violent pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
They catch him. So the non-aggression principle, would that apply to the dude who catches Jarvis molesting a kid, or can you kill him?
Well, there's some different theories with capital punishment in a free market.
Let's hear them.
But I don't know exactly how this would play out, because sometimes in the free market it has some pretty unique solutions, right? There may not be capital punishment, partly because the idea, like today we have this idea that criminals of any type need to pay their debt to society. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because who's society? Yeah. So the system that we have now is, if let's say someone murders a family member, or maybe they steal $10,000 from you, or whatever the case is. Not only do you not get made whole as a victim in most cases, but then you get the luxury of having to pay for their room and board through taxation.
Right.
Well, that seems a little upside down.
Right.
And so now you're a victim, and then you get to pay for your dude to get 3 meals a day. That's awesome.
Right. Right.
So,
the aggressor.
Right. And so there some of the theories I've read as far as that goes is there would definitely be companies that would have prisons, and those the insurance agencies would like specialize in those type of people. But in the free market, there's private properties everywhere. So if you say you have committed these crimes in the past, no one's going to let you on their property. So
right.
What do you do? Right? How are you going to function in society if you can't go anywhere?
Right.
So the only place you could go would be the prison.
So you have to voluntarily go.
Almost, right. Or if you want to eat, if you're not going to leave someone's private property, you're going to probably get shot, or you're going to get another police officer is going to show up and then take you to where the only place you can go is the prison. And then there's different things, different theories that could happen. Maybe there's a way you could work off a debt to the family, and you whatever there was a victim, then you pay for your crime in that sense, and they get reimbursed.
So they reinstate you in your insurance?
I'm not really sure how that would work out. And of course, you could get really with some really horrible crimes. You never would really want to see that person go back into society.
Right.
So I'm a little unclear on how that would.
Sure. I wonder how capital, because I am a firm believer in capital punishment when it comes to like molestation and things like that, more so than even murder.
Like if a child's hurt.
Yeah, if a
Yeah.
kid is hurt,
Yeah.
I think that person should die.
Yeah.
You know, how would capital punishment, let's say it exists in the anarcho-capitalist society, how would capital punishment play out?
Again, I'm not really sure if the guy would actually be put to death. I don't really know.
You would have to, because there's no rehabilitation for that.
There's no rehabilitation, but maybe a more fitting punishment for the guy is him doing hard labor for the rest of his life. And if the family doesn't want his money from that, then maybe they get to donate it to charity.
Okay, so so this guy, pedophiles someone, pedophiles them up.
Sure.
They're like, you can't go on anybody's property, and the only place he can go is the prison.
Right.
Let's say he walks off the fucking prison and goes and kidnaps a kid.
He's probably going to get shot.
Let's say they get the kid back.
Okay.
And he doesn't get shot.
Okay.
What do they do? Just go back to the prison?
That's a good question. I'm not sure the intricacies of that is kind of interesting how that works out.
I say,
because I doubt he's going to be able to escape.
I say they have a tribunal, like in Survivor, except everybody's like, they have like a capital punishment tribunal. Maybe it's like a local government, and they vote on whether to end this motherfucker's life. And then but
Sure.
So
It's possible.
yeah, so they sit there and they're like, okay, but that would be government.
In a way, yeah.
That would be government, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so they have a tribunal, like a couple guys or whatever.
You're
Like-
free to leave, free to go. It's fine.
Yeah. And they vote whether to live or die. And so, like, let's say he died. Like, they caught him,
Sure.
getting a little handsy. They vote for him to die.
Mm-hmm.
In an anarcho society, we could, like, make it an event. Like, halftime at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
I don't think there'd be a lot of advertisers. They're probably going to pull out of that
Why?
because, well, it's just bad taste, right? No one's
How? How's that bad taste?
public executions. yeah, I don't know. Maybe you.
Are you telling me that 98% of what is searched on the internet can actually, or is unseen, is unsearchable, right? And you're telling me that amount of people would not want to see a pedophile breathe his last breath at halftime?
You just make it a pay-per-view event.
Oh, pay-per-view.
Now, see, that's a little different.
That's more capitalist society.
Maybe that would happen. I don't know if people if it would fly or not. Maybe it would.
Oh, it
But-
would. It would.
It's possible, but the idea is like to give people the choice.
I would have so much money and I would make it.
Would you?
Yeah, I would make it work.
Well, there you go. And if you had customers, right? It's possible. But then what happens? So see, think about this. What happens if your employer finds out that you're doing that, or the people that you do business with are going to find that to be in poor taste? Maybe that's going to cost you something, and that's the whole point of the free market.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to do business with them.
There you go, and that's perfectly fine. But the idea of the free market is that you get to pay for your own prejudices, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to be a jerk, then be a jerk, but it's going to cost you, not somebody else.
Right.
So the free market would be able to handle, all of that: adoption, abortion. There would be no minimum wage laws.
Constipation.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. Common flu.
So have you ever had any friends or run-ins with? Because the anarcho-capitalists, I'm sure not many of our listeners are, versed in the anarcho-capitalist theory with the non-aggression principle. Have you ever ran into, have you ever talked with a police officer or anybody, a statist, on these theories, and what have they said?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Actually, I had a pretty good buddy. I still do.
No, you did.
Yeah.
You were right. You were right, man.
Yeah, it was past tense. Funny story. I actually passed it, or he passed me today on the way into work.
Really?
Yeah, in his cruiser. He didn't see me. So
wow.
I texted him. I said, what, you don't even wave? And the speed limit's 60 miles an hour. What are you doing?
Dude, hilarious.
He texts me back and says, no texting and driving.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a funny dude. But yeah, we talked a lot about
He was serious, Ryan.
Yeah, he probably was.
He was serious, and
Yeah.
he doesn't appreciate your friendship.
Right. He
And I
probably
use finger quotes.
he
when I
probably
said
texted me
friendship.
while he was working on his laptop. Right.
Driving down
Driving
the
down
street,
the street. Yeah.
60 miles an hour. Yeah,
That's funny.
freedom.
Yeah, most people they're a little apprehensive to the idea of no government. They think we would all run out to the street and start killing each other, but that's not generally true. And what's funny about some of that is most people are voluntarists in their own life, anyways.
Okay.
How many people go around making other people do what they want? It's not really a normal course of action.
I do it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
I like to think I do sometimes.
Yeah, you like to think you're
Yeah.
in charge.
Yeah, like if my wife's cooking dinner, sometimes I'll like walk down the stairs and I'm like, "That's right, you cooked that dinner."
Oh, sure you do.
Yeah.
Sure you do.
Yeah. And my brother-in-law, Jimmy, he'll say to his wife sometimes, he'll be like, "My dinner ain't going to cook itself."
Then
then he cooks
that?
You know what? I've heard that joke for like 14 years now, and it's never been funny.
No,
No.
not so much, right?
My dinner ain't going to cook itself, and then nobody laughs. But you know those people that tell them jokes like they're still so
Yeah.
funny?
Does he still tell that joke?
Yeah. Yeah, I guarantee
man.
you will hear it. I
Really?
guarantee you will hear it at some point.
All right.
He's going to listen to this podcast. Jimmy, if you're listening, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Jimmy. One of my best buddies. My brother.
That's all.
Yeah. Don't talk shit about Jimmy, please.
Yeah. I don't know Jimmy.
Yeah.
He sounds like a douche.
No, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to actually write some stand-up and actually hit the stage.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. We'll see.
Are you gonna do that?
Yeah. I got a whole...
Can I go and
No.
heckle you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That would actually make me feel good, probably,
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
if someone got up there and as I'm eating a big bowl of dicks on stage in front of people
Oh.
and just heckled me.
That's a good would you rather.
Yeah, like I give you a ride to the place, to the venue. And then you just go sit in the back and
I thought you were supposed to be funny.
yeah, you're not fucking funny. I got a question, guys. One thing that I noticed in talking with people recently is, when did we start using "I mean" at the beginning of every sentence?
And we do that a lot, don't we?
A lot.
I had never thought of that.
Do we?
Yeah, my wife does it. I do it.
I mean, seriously?
Watch, now we're going to be super aware of it
Super
from
aware,
here on.
yeah, yeah.
You know? And now that I'm aware of it,
Do I do it?
we all do it. It's something.
Like a lot?
I don't know. I'm unaware sometimes.
Hmm.
I am aware, but I'm unaware because I still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's one of those habits, hard to break.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna be super aware of it, and then it's gonna bug you, but you're still gonna do it.
I can look some up, Nate.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
I heard you on here anyway.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm just going to edit this out.
1, 2, 3, cut there.
Well, Jarvis is looking that up. I would like to promote a couple things. This weekend, we have Jarvis Raindrop Little hoeing himself out on the corner of Sleater Kinney and Carpenter Road.
This Sunday only.
This Sunday only. $2 gets you a handy. $4 gets you a dandy. He accepts cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and he will be out there in his robe. So just go ahead and pull into the parking lot and wait your turn. Sunday.
Jarvis Sunday special.
The handy dandy at the handy dandy. Jarvis, if you were a prostitute, what would your hoe name be?
The one that you gave me.
Raindrop, or what was it, Candy Rain or something?
Little princess.
Whoa. That was going too far.
Yeah, that's really mean. I can't believe how mean that was. What would mine be? Mine would be the muffin stuffer.
Muffin stuffer.
Oh, that's so over the top.
Ryan's would be freckle juice.
Freckle juice.
Yeah?
I can make that work.
Freckle juice?
Freckle juice the hoe.
Oh, man.
What would yours be? Raindrop?
Yeah.
I like it.
You know, you gave me that nickname.
Yeah.
I'll stick
Well,
with it.
actually, I didn't give you that nickname. Your cult leader gave you that nickname.
And who was that?
Our friend Martrell. Martrell Adams,
Oh, yeah.
leader of the sex cult. You got him pulled up? You got him queued up?
I mean, I have a website
Oh, see,
pulled
you
up.
just did it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. When you
Well,
could have just
good.
said, I have a website pulled up.
I
Make
was
them
about
good.
to say it again. All right.
I hate when you fucking do that.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Would you rather be able to detect any lie you hear or get away with any lie you tell?
Fucking detect any lie. No question. That's no fucking question.
Yeah, definitely.
I would ruin some motherfuckers.
Negotiations would be
Yeah.
awesome. wouldn't
That
they?
would be great. Oh, yeah. You could be like some real estate mogul or whatever, and then some guy will be like, I'm only willing to go 2 million. You like, you fucking liar.
Well, think about it, because you could ask any question, and then they couldn't lie to you, right?
True.
Well, they don't have to answer
Oh,
either.
well,
I'm not
yeah.
answering that. Then
Yes.
what? Then you just
It wasn't
became
a safe proof plan. I mean,
then you just
then
became
what are you gonna do, motherfucker?
then you just became the second best negotiator in the room. Congratulations, Ryan.
There you go.
All right, what about you, Jarvis? What would you do?
It would be detect.
You would
any
detect
lie.
lies.
Yeah.
What would you do? What if someone really close to you was lying to you about something really personal, and it was almost embarrassing? But you knew they were lying. Would you call them out, or would you be like, "I'm gonna let this one slide"?
I mean, I wouldn't call them out like if it was with a big group of people.
You gotta put it in an example.
Okay, so what if our friend Matt
Okay.
Peccolato, the wrestling fan,
Yeah.
was like, you were asking him like, "Hey Matt, do you have an itchy butt?" And he was like, "I don't have an itchy butt, Jarvis," but you fucking knew he had herpes on his butthole.
You can detect it like that.
Yeah, let's pretend.
You're
Like
like not very
specific?
good at this example stuff.
Would you call him out, Matt? I know you got herpes on your butthole.
If it was one-on-one, yeah. Not like.
Is that what you would say? Hey, there's no use in.
No,
Hey,
no,
buddy.
I don't even think I'm gonna bring up his butthole issues. I mean, why even bother?
You wouldn't.
I don't think. Why?
Would you just snicker if he was like, "No, I don't have an itchy
Oh,
butthole"?
yeah,
You'd
probably,
be like,
probably laugh,
Probably
yeah.
just laugh at the joke in my head.
"I freaking know you have herpes butt."
Yeah.
Nice example.
I think that was a
Thank
little
you.
close to home considering how the show started.
Right?
So Jarvis would detect a lie too. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said.
All right. What's the next one? You're fucking lying.
I mean, these aren't that great.
Okay. Why don't you get off of that site and then go find some that are great?
All right. Would you rather never hear music again or lose the ability to read?
Okay. Well, lose the ability to read. Next.
No way.
No, I'm just kidding. You would rather do without music for the rest of your life?
Then be able to read?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be able to read.
What can reading get you in
Oh
life?
my god. It's all starting to come together.
It's clicking.
It's all. The picture is so much
Oh
clearer.
my gosh. I actually am in charge of people.
I'm looking up a new list.
Okay, let's look up a new list. That's a
Well, while
great-
he's looking up, you should tell me where you are at on the political scale, like Republican, Libertarian.
Oh, I think I'm a conservative guy. I would say that early on I would have been Republican, but then just watching the evolution of the Republican Party kind of devolve into the
Yeah.
same shit that the Democrats are. And then, like, you have this two-party system, but it's not two parties. It's really one fucking party who
Right.
argues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not that. I think I'm a little more conservative than the libertarians, even, I think. So
Mhm.
I would probably land in between libertarian and anarcho capitalism.
Yeah,
Yeah, right now.
that's a good place to be.
I haven't settled in anarcho capitalism just because I don't know how some of that stuff would work.
Sure.
But again, you gave me a book that I actually took out.
Oh, The Rise and Fall of Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in between anarcho capitalist and libertarian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm all about freedom, personal freedom.
Sure.
I'm all about free market.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for the non-aggression principle. I really like the fact that if there is a police force and the private police force, the stakes are raised,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't just get a fuck with people,
Right.
or it's their job, it's their livelihood
Right.
to fire police. Just the ability, if we had that in today's society, just the ability to fire police officers,
Right.
it would be so much better. Jarvis, do you have any? I mean, what do you think about that?
No, yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Especially there's a joke in some of the chat rooms and Facebook groups or whatever that the difference between like a libertarian and an anarcho capitalism is 6 months.
It's a fucking shitty joke.
But yeah, it's a good place to be. I think you'll like the book. It'll be
Yeah.
good. It'll be enlightening. I think it blew my hair back.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get my pubes parted. All right, Jarvie.
All right. Would you rather go about your normal day naked or fall asleep for a year?
Oh, I'm gonna go fall asleep for a year,
Like how long naked? Like a day?
all day, like your day.
Yeah,
So you're
all
at
day.
work.
Yeah, it has
that
to be a
would
work
not
day.
be enjoyable. I'm gonna have to go. I think sleep for a year.
Well, that's when you call in sick. That's like
For
a
a
normal
year?
day.
No,
Well,
that's
then-
not a
then
normal day.
Sometimes it is.
I don't normally call it. Would you go throughout your normal day naked?
No, because we would get arrested.
Right. And then fucking slapped
I
with
know,
a
yeah.
level 1 sex offender.
No, fall asleep for a year. You're right.
So, okay, you have to register for the rest of your life.
But man, that'd suck.
That would suck big time.
Just taking all the legal stuff out of that.
I
equation,
mean,
just walking around.
The amount
work.
of attention I'm going to get, just alone is going to be
Is that what would happen?
it's going to be distracting. Yeah.
You'd get a lot of attention.
Just people gathered around trying to find it. Okay,
you
so we're all
Ryan?
sleeping for a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Sleep. It's only one day.
Right.
All right.
Are you falling asleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Would you rather be invisible or be able to read minds?
Read minds.
Read minds for sure. For sure.
Hmm.
Because, okay, so the majority of these would you rathers that are like that, like, would you rather have the ability? My process is, how can I leverage this to my benefit?
Right.
True.
Right.
It's such a shitty way to think. Like, it's not how can I help society. It's like,
It
it's like, how can I
instantly goes to how can I gain from this?
yes, yeah. How can I better my position in this world? Yeah, so I would definitely be like a mind reader, and then I would fuck everything up. For sure. I would at least make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a problem.
No. I mean, I'd probably still fuck that up, too.
All right. How about this one? Would you rather forget who you were or who everyone else was?
Who I am.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because then you'd forget like your kids, and that would suck.
yeah. I would rather forget who I am, because I value the relationships in my life so deeply. And I do value myself and my history, but, it's just a lot of hops and bong resin. Really. So I'm just going to give that up. And what about you?
You're-
You didn't answer. Would you forget yourself, or would you forget everyone else?
Oh, easy. Everyone else. No, myself.
Okay. You know what? Here's the thing, though. If the people around you can remind you who you are, they can teach you who you are.
Yeah.
But that'd be every day.
I could teach you who you were. Are. Jarvis, you don't do that. Get your finger out of there. That's not who you are.
You should tell that to yourself.
What?
Get your finger out of there.
Finger out of where?
Your butt.
My finger's not in my butt.
When you were wiping your butt today.
I wasn't I was wiping sweat out of my butt crack
Okay.
before the show. You can't start a podcast with a sweaty crack. You got to clear the sweat out of the beehole.
All right. You ready for this next one?
Oh, I'm ready.
Would you rather smell like a fart all the time for the rest of your life or drink a diarrhea milkshake?
Ooh.
Oh, just one diarrhea milkshake?
I don't like that one.
I don't either, but I'm going diarrhea milkshake for sure.
Yeah, I don't like that one at all.
Balls in your court, sir.
Yeah. You can't stink, so you're gonna have to do the milkshake, right?
Oh, you're fucking gross. What about you, Jay?
It's gonna have to be that.
You have to, because you especially can't pull girls smelling like a fart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Not
it's
gonna
like,
work.
shit.
Literally.
It's like fart guy again. That's what they would. He's coming to talk to me.
All right. Would you rather always lose or never play?
Ooh. I think losing would get tiring. So it depends.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, because if I'm like, for example, if I'm like best friends with LeBron James and he's like, "Hey, let's play one-on-one every single day," I'm never gonna win, but I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go with I will always lose.
I think so.
I think that's my motto in life.
Motto?
I will always lose.
How you get
Just
so
gonna do my
frustrated though?
And
You
lose.
would get frustrated, but at least you played. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Wow.
I made that up just now.
Did you? Right, you hit that one right out of the park. Reminds me of the suicide conversation we had the other day.
Oh yeah.
Let's just
How,
go ahead and.
how did that one go?
What happened? Why were we talking about suicide?
I think I asked you if everything if everything was okay because you looked a little down.
Oh, is that what happened? I was looking a little self-defeated.
Yeah. And then it just kind of segued into how you were gonna kill yourself. It just kind of segued into how you were gonna kill yourself later on
Right.
that evening.
When we called the 1-800 number and I felt better.
Yeah. And then we just started going over the way, all the different ways you could accomplish your goal. And I think you settled on pills.
Did I settle on pills? I think I settled. Yeah, I think it was as long as no one found me. Right?
No, I can't remember how that conversation seriously started though.
Wasn't something in the news?
Oh, I was watching that video of that guy who had a son who committed suicide, and it crushed him.
That's
just ruined
right.
his life. And then he went, I think, 4 or 5 years, and he finally pulls himself out of this hole. And his other son then commits suicide.
That's right. That's
So
right.
both his sons committed suicide, and just the journey on how he pulled himself out of that
That was
hole.
crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so I think we started talking about like what we would do in that situation.
Right.
And I think my answer was just to off myself.
Yeah, you're not crawling out of that.
Yeah.
hole, right. Yeah.
No, I'm stepping off the ledge for
Yeah,
sure.
If your kids are.
If I'm gonna kill myself in that situation, I would probably go in spectacular fashion.
I think you're a bridge jumper.
I probably, dude, I'm scared of heights. I am so terrified of heights, but I'll jump sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cliff diving into the water. Terrified, but I'll do it.
Yeah, that's a blast. I love that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I do too. But I'm scared of heights. I don't think I'd be a trigger man.
No.
No, I think I'm probably either gonna go pills or hanging.
Oh wow, old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, respectful way to go out, right?
Yeah. Jarvis, your sister committed suicide. How did she do it?
What?
The look on his face.
I just wanted to see what Ryan would do. Like,
Oh, I don't believe anything coming out of your
oh,
mouth
okay,
anymore.
okay. No,
Because if that was really true, there's no way you're gonna let
I'm
me
sitting
not
here-
give me a heads up on that one.
yeah, I'm sitting here just joking about it.
Yeah.
No, so what about you, Jarvis? How are you going?
I wasn't listening to anything you guys
So
were
like you're in a position where, let's say someone stole all your pogs. How are you gonna kill? How are you gonna kill yourself?
saying. What? Wait, what did you guys say?
I said either because I'm scared of heights,
Mhm.
and I don't think I'd be a trigger man, because I'd be like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I would go either hanging or pills.
Hanging?
Yeah, I'd hang myself.
Really?
Yeah, why? You just kind of slip away, you know.
And what did you say? Right.
I don't know. It might have to be the trigger.
Really, just quick and.
Yeah, I don't know. It just my only concern would be is that I wasn't. No one would. You don't want like your kids. You hear those stories like
Yeah.
kids walk in and find their parents or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, no. In this scenario, like, all your kids are dead. Like in this scenario.
At that point, I don't know if it really matters. Right?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would do pills.
Yeah, because it seems like you would just, I don't know. That's how all the Hollywood ladies die, because that's the most common form of suicide among women is overdosing, because it doesn't mess up how they look, right?
Yeah.
A gun, jumping, things like that just jacks up your look. And they know when the newspaper photographers come, they want to look presentable.
Except, what was the one recently, just in the last week? What was her name? Spade? Kate Spade?
I don't know.
David Spade's sister-in-law?
Oh.
I think she hung herself in her apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See, that's really sad stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a permanent solution. Oh, Anthony Bourdain this week.
Oh, right.
Oh, my gosh. That guy was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But what an asshole. Leaving his kids behind like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole. That's what I don't get. I'll never feel sympathy for those motherfuckers that kill themselves and leave their families behind.
It's nuts.
Because it's the ultimate selfish move, and I don't give a fuck if people are like it's a mental illness or what. Like, that motherfucker thought of himself, and he thinks about other people around him, or she thinks about everybody else around him, and then decides to take themselves out of the equation and not allow anybody in their life to help them out of the fucking well.
Well, and it's not just taking themselves out of the equation. It's putting that on your kids' shoulders. Like, my dad committed suicide. I mean, that's brutal.
Like he would rather be dead than be alive and be with me.
Yeah, that's...
Or brothers and sisters, and...
That's tough. Especially these people that, they have enough freedom and wealth to get help.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Isn't it? We're all going to go pills.
I think so.
Do you have any would you rathers left?
Keep on talking. I'll find one last good one.
So, where did you land with Sasquatch?
Sasquatch? I don't know. A possibility.
Okay.
It's not ruling out the possibility, right?
Yeah.
I don't like absolutes, I guess. So, anything's possible.
But that's what kind of scares me about society, is there's so many absolutes.
Except the flat earth theory. That's not true.
Oh, that's absolutely not true.
Oh, that's so funny, those guys.
Yeah. That's one word for it. Funny.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah. That sucks. Those guys going through life thinking they're just normal and shit.
Maybe that's the funny part.
And they just, I just picture them all like in their little club meetings, like their little flat earth club meetings. They like sit down and the guy stands up and then he passes out the coloring books. And then everybody.
I'm looking forward to the day where I actually get to meet somebody, because I actually want to, I'm curious to know, walk me through this.
Yeah, walk me through your fucking idiocy. Yeah, I'll introduce you to a couple people. I know someone.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I actually know 2 people.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, flat earthers are some shit, man. Man, are you not finding any would you rathers?
Not really.
Man. Okay, so here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather shit on someone or have someone shit on you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the dumper in that situation. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So you would shit on someone?
On you.
Okay, well, easy. So I know you guys think this would be like an easy answer because, obviously no one likes to get shit on. But think about this. Like, you walk into a room, you have to get naked, right?
Why do you
like,
have
think
to
about
get naked?
How do you shit?
Well, you're going to shit on someone.
Yeah, why are you getting naked?
Because you're going to shit on them. Okay, you got to pull your pants off at least because you got to straddle them.
You're talking about fully naked right now.
No, okay, so you got to pull your pants off so your balls, like all the shit you care about, is hanging down, like dangling over someone,
all right.
and you're straddling them. You can see your gooch, bro. They can see your fucking gooch. And then you're like, you have to shit. That means you have to you have to actually physically push a shit out of your ass.
Okay.
Right? Onto
Yeah.
someone.
We
Think
understood that.
of how uncomfortable that would be.
Nope.
I don't want anybody to see me shit.
You think that's better than seeing it coming at you?
I would rather see it come out of someone's butthole than me
out of someone's butthole and on you.
onto my chest or whatever.
No, it's face.
No.
Fuck that. It ain't face. I never said face. I make the rules here. Yeah. No, I never said face.
Is that
First
on
of all.
you?
Yeah, I said on me,
And
not on my
we're making this face.
No, I didn't say face. We're not making this. Okay, if it's face, I'll shit on someone else's face. But if it's like anywhere like neck and down, I'll have someone shit on me because I think that's so gross. No one wants to see my beehole.
He's sensitive about his undercarriage.
Okay, here's one for you, Jarvis, because you were talking about this the other day.
Okay.
Would you rather have sex with a hideously ugly person or a beautiful fresh corpse?
What? When did I talk about this?
Was I not clear?
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Would you rather have sex with a hideously ugly person or a beautiful fresh corpse?
How ugly are we talking about?
You decide.
Like an example.
Okay, like Steve Buscemi.
What ugly person?
Would you really?
They have a heartbeat.
That's not what you were saying.
Shut up.
Okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, you have to take the live person. How's
Yeah.
how's that even a question?
What do you mean?
Well, they're live. They're alive. They're breathing.
But they're ugly. So kind of.
well, the dead person's dead, so
Okay. Okay, but is that the only drawback?
he couldn't even ask that one. I don't know.
I mean, they're just dead. Fresh.
I guess no one has to know.
It said fresh dead. That means you could have been in the middle of doing it and then they died and then you had to make the decision to finish.
Yeah, I think you just jumped the tracks. Yeah, that's true. I guess that could happen.
Tell me that's never happened before.
Oh, well, maybe it never happened to me, but yeah, I don't know. It's probably happened.
It's happened to one of us in the room and it's not me or you. So, corpse for you?
No.
Okay, so we're all going ugly person. Ooh, we're all banging Steve Buscemi. Would you rather go bright purple when embarrassed or sweat so much you soak your clothes?
Bright purple.
People would think you're fucking dying.
Well, at least you don't have wet clothes.
He's choking. Wouldn't you look like you're choking? Yeah, I think I would go bright purple too.
Blurple.
Yeah, you would have to go blurple. Like you wouldn't see it. Barely a change in you.
Oh, shit.
I am not that dark.
Oh, you're afraid of dark. Would you rather fart every time you laugh or burp every time you cry? That's a fucking no-brainer.
Oh yeah, definitely taking the fart. No.
What was the question?
Fart every time you laugh or burp every time you cry?
Burp.
Yeah, I'm gonna burp and cry.
Burp and cry.
Oh, you know what? As soon as This Is Us comes on, I'll be burping that whole season, bruh. I'll burp that whole season because I be crying all on every episode. Beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, guys. Well, Ryan, thanks for coming on the Tipsy Pollock this week. It was a real fun time. Pleasure having you.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Do you have anything that you'd like to promote? He's trying to get a job, guys. So if you're if you're hiring, hit him up on LinkedIn.
You can always stop by the gas station and get some gas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you
Yeah,
promote your
yeah.
gas station?
Black Lake Boulevard by Outback Steakhouse. Yeah.
And
It's a Shell station, so we sell gas. So you could come and pump gas.
don't you have two others that you want to promote too? We're not just here in Olympia.
Oh, yeah, but I got one in Portland and one in Camas.
We have listeners in Korea.
I don't have any gas stations in Korea.
I know, but you
Oh.
do have one in Camas.
Yeah, Camas, Washington, and Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, there you go. So
Awesome.
pump gas in Camas and Portland. And
Yeah.
what?
I said, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jarvis, go ahead and pump your event.
What, this Sunday?
Yeah, I said pump.
Anyways,
Are
see
you
you guys later.
You're not gonna promote your event
No, not at all.
this weekend. Jarvis Little will be hoeing himself out again.
That's not my name.
Raindrop.
There you go.
Okay, Raindrop will be on the corner of Carpenter and Sleater-Kinney.
Yeah.
So thanks again for listening to the Tipsy Pollock. like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel. If hopefully it'll be up and running if I'm not so fucking retarded I can't figure it out again. So, yeah. Check us out, and we'll see you next time on The Tipsy Pollock. Bye!
Yeah.